Today in the Spotlight, we are going to talk about foster care for children and young people at risk and how organizations like Foster Care Association of Victoria are looking after foster carers. Welcome to In the Spotlight. I'm your host, Uruis. Do you know that according to the report from the Australian Institute of Health and Welfare on Child Protection Australia 2017-18, about 159,000 children aged 0 to 17 years received child protection services? This nearly equates to a rate of 28.7 per 1,000 children. Nearly three-quarters, that is 72% of children received child protection services, were repeat clients. That is, the children had been the subject of an investigation, care and protection order or an out-of-home care placement in a previous financial year. Between 2013-14 and 2017-18, the rates per 1,000 children rose from 7.2 to 8.5 for those who were the subject of substantiations, from 8.7 to 10.1 for those on care and protection orders, from 8.1 to 8.2 for those in out-of-home care. Foster care is the backbone of Victoria's response to protective intervention for children and young people at risk. Foster carers are the volunteers providing foster care to children and young people who are unable to live with their birth family for a variety of reasons. Angela Care Victoria vision is to resource and empower children, young people and families to achieve their full potential through the provision of quality, innovative services for children and young people, supporting vulnerable families and the promotion of social justice.
I had a phone call from my agency saying that they're in desperate need of someone to have a tiny baby from hospital for a few days over Christmas. And because there were not many people working and not many people around, they asked would I do it. And at the time I was thrilled to do it. So I picked up a baby and had her here for 2 or 3 days. And it was just really lovely. I found it was my Christmas present to me. I feel really good when you'll come into a room and the child that's been there for 2 or 3 weeks now will come to you and put their arms around your legs and put their arms up to say up, you know, and they'll give you a cuddle, and it's really makes me feel happy that this child now is having a little bit of safety and security, and hopefully will take that on to wherever they go when they leave me. When a child leaves me after being with me for 2.5 years and goes home to their biological family and it's successful, I get a feeling of great achievement. I feel really happy and probably satisfied in myself for doing something that is helpful for other people and makes other people's life good.
Today we have with us Samantha Hoger, Chief Executive Officer at Foster Care Association of Victoria. Foster Care Association of Victoria is a not-for-profit big body for over 4,000 Victorian foster carers established in 1992 by a small, passionate group of foster carers. They play a key role as a member association to advocate for vital improvements to the foster care systems. Hi Samantha, how are you?
Very well, thank you, Iris, and thank you very much for having me on your program.
It's a pleasure. Samantha, can you tell us more about your organisation in detail?
Certainly, the Foster Care Association of Victoria is the peak body representing the Victorian foster carers. We're a not-for-profit independent organisation working towards better outcomes for foster families, the children, young people and the carers as well. Foster carers are basically volunteers that give up all of their time to help care for children and young people who are not able to live with their birth family and who are subject to state government intervention. These children and young people are people that have suffered traumatic events or are likely to suffer traumatic events, which is why they're not residing with their birth family. We provide information, support and training to foster carers throughout the state of Victoria, and we also advocate very strongly for vital improvements to the system for better conditions for carers and children and young people. We are the voice of foster carers and we work to improve the system, as I said, for children and young people in out-of-home care.
Right. Can you tell us some of the challenges your organisation faces on an everyday basis?
Basically, we find that we have daily challenges with the out-of-home care system and seek to make vital improvements to that system. Each night in Victoria there are approximately 9,700 children that are in out-of-home care, and many of those require foster care placements. One of the difficulties is that the number of carers is not enough to keep pace with the number of children requiring placement. So there needs to be a really big focus on recruitment, and there needs to be a very strong focus on retaining the current carers we have, looking after their health and well-being, and understanding what a valuable contribution that they make to our society. We also need the government to increase and improve the foster carers' access to reimbursement expenses. So for example, if children need better access to education, the health system, if they need travel expenses paid for, sporting events, sporting activities, all those kind of things. There is carer reimbursements, however we say that there's not enough money for the reimbursements, and sometimes the system's very complex to navigate that. So really there needs to be extra additional funding. The day a young person turns 18 in Victoria, the state government funding is cut off and the reimbursement to the carers is also cut off, which leaves a young person technically with no stable support, no case management support, no family, and in effect out on their own, which is a very young and vulnerable age. And we know now that young people, you know, in a family unit usually stay in the home well past 21 years of age in these days and times. And to increase the age of state care to 21, we can give them the opportunity to finish school, find employment, have access to stable accommodation, and basically provide them with ongoing support and stability, which they require, because 18 is still a very young and vulnerable age for children in state care who've come from quite traumatic backgrounds. We also seek better remuneration for the caregivers. At the moment, Victoria is one of the lowest paid states for reimbursements for carers, so we need to look at actively increasing that figure and acknowledging the worth that the caregivers provide to the community.
So would you want to share with us like a success story that brings a smile on your face?
Yeah, sure. Just thinking of one that happened the other day, where we received a phone call from a carer advising us that despite contacting her foster care agency and Centrelink for one of the young people in her care who had a healthcare card that had just expired, and basically she was trying to obtain discount medication for the young person who had a lot of medical needs, and without the healthcare card that was an incredible expense for her. She ended up spending 3 months contacting Centrelink to try and get that healthcare card reissued for that young person, and during that time was paying an enormous amount of money without having the healthcare card. So she contacted the Foster Care Association, and she was desperately unhappy, and I guess she was at wit's end, not knowing what to do. So our workers contacted Centrelink and went through some appropriate channels which we have special contacts with, and within 7 days that healthcare card was sent out to the young person. And so they're the kind of things that we can certainly advocate on behalf of the carers for, and which has direct benefit for the young people in care.
Oh, that's a fantastic story.
Yeah, thank you, Iris. And I guess the last thing that I'd like to just say is that we've just been celebrating a wonderful week. It's been the Victorian Foster Care Week of celebrations to acknowledge the wonderful job and contribution that our caregivers make. And it's just a time, I guess, to celebrate and really appreciate the amazing pool of foster carers that we do have and the valuable contribution that they make to our society.
Is there any celebration or something that you do?
We've actually just come from a very large celebration which was held at the Windsor Hotel today. We hosted over 200 foster carers and enjoyed a successful lunch, a lovely speech from the Minister, and just a time to really celebrate and acknowledge our appreciation and gratitude for all that carers do for Victoria.
Excellent. Thank you so much, Samantha, for taking the time out from your busy schedule and interviewing today with me. So I'll wish you all the best.
Thank you.
And we'll see you soon.
Thank you very much.
Thank you,
Iris.
You know, they say parenthood requires love and not DNA. Thank you for watching us today. Good night.